we experience regularly in the IT audit practice. Like I said in the previous section, people will just spread falsehood. They will just spread lies, just to malign your character. Maybe you are feeling the heat of what you are doing. Maybe you are daring to them. You have been stopping their illegality. Maybe they have been benefiting illegally from purchases in the company and you have been stopping it. Somebody can say, because you challenge him. Meanwhile, you are not challenging. You'll be spreading falsehood. Let me give an example. In one organization that I worked, I later heard that the people were saying that we were part of the reasons why the management was oppressing them. We were one of them. We were management team members. Whereas it was not so. When I was there, I was fighting staff costs. I have plenty of examples. But we could not have been going and be telling them what we were doing. A good example was one in 2020, they hired a woman. In 2021, they were to do appraisal. This woman introduced new appraisal rating, different from what was in the policy. In fact, at the submission of appraisal, she asked the heads to return the appraisal. She gave them ratings she wanted to use, plus she said that people those that were scoring 80 should provide justification for that. Fine, that one is even okay. If you are scoring 80, very good performance. 90 to 100, according to the policy, is exceptional performance. You should have justification. But what of the one you are now introducing? The woman I was reporting to, the woman brought the appraiser to me and said, this is what transpired when they were discussing the appraiser. I told the woman to go to her, to tell her that what she introduced is fine. You can't bring appraisal rating at this time during appraisal. You can't change the guide. You can't change from what we have in the policy. It's synonymous to changing the goalposts in the middle of the game. I don't know what the woman did, whether she didn't go there. She said that we should review our appraisal down. But I went to the woman in charge, the woman that introduced new appraisal rating, on behalf of the staff. I politely told her that one, people have been working towards what was written down in the policy. If you want them to do something different from that, or you want to read them on something different from the policy, you must have gotten approval from the MD. You must ask his exceptional approval, or the policy will have been amended. And if it's exceptional approval you are getting, or even amended policy, it must have been communicated to staff. Staff will know what they are working towards. But now, changing appraisal now or rating now translates into changing the goalpost in the middle of the game. This woman felt bad. She felt that I was too daring. On behalf of the staff, that was what I did that. Because organization at times, people flex muscle, people do whatever they think is right. So their words, their action, they believe should be a law, should be policy, should be processes or procedures for people to base what they do on. So that thing cost me a lot from that woman. Early 2022, this woman introduced a meeting where technical and operation people, they will always meet. They call it technical operation meeting. I was omitted. I had to report to the MD. Even the MD said they maybe perhaps they didn't need me. If I was to be there, they would have put me there. And many more that came after that because of that, just because of staff. There was another case. I went to do audit in a particular section in 2019, and I saw a guy there. I used to know him in IT. In fact, there were two. I saw another one there. After some time, they were moved from IT. One had HND computer science, another one had BSc in computer science. They were moved to a section. They gave one of them phones. They were capturing names of people for card production. And I saw in them that they were not happy. I saw in them that they were not enjoying what they were doing. They were frustrated. And I asked them question. One of them told me that he was on leave when they just told him that he should not report in IT, he should go and report there due to departmental politics. I asked him, he told me the reason why he thought they did that, or he believed they did that. The second one used to be somebody that usually engaged me. You know, when we are doing our review, application review, we used to ask a lot of things, different things. One of this is for them to do architectural diagram, flow diagram, and all those things. This guy was always asking questions in IT. He would ask me. I think they scheduled him with the responsibility to prepare those things. So he would ask me, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do this, this is where I am, this is what I want to do. He always asked questions, and I was always happy to answer him, to attend to him. So I was shocked when I saw him there. And this person that was performing, I was always ready to learn. You know, out of concern for the welfare of staff, I tried hard in, I think, early 2022 or so, or late 2021, to bring them to my unit. I see how those mails that were exchanged those days. The HR lady didn't want to release them. She didn't. She was giving me different excuses. At some point, she was telling me that if they do this, they do that, she doesn't want to hear complaint. And I sensed that she was working with those people who made those people transferred there. If some people push somebody out, they said they don't want him, and somebody said he wants them, you release them. That is out of concern for staff. The same HR lady, I remember I played a major role in assuming that duty out of my concern and love for staff, and specifically for the MD of that company. At that time, we were on the island one day when the MD just threw a question. He threw two names before us. Said this name and this lady who eventually become the head of HR. That he was asking which of them to choose for the job. A woman went for another woman. That woman went for had previously been on that seat. And in pushing that woman, the person said, I think she has learned her lesson. Why me? I supported the other HR lady that was there at the time I was leaving. Why? Two reasons. because I didn't want any harm for the MD. Based on what we have been hearing and what we have been seeing, we believe that this HR lady will serve the interest of the MD better than the other woman. There was a procurement manager that later left. The information he was giving us did not portray the woman as a loyalist of the MD. We could not be telling the MD, but we're protecting his interests. And meanwhile, for me, I work in some organization, I've been close to board, close to senior management staff. I know how they operate, especially in the board. They usually vote. When they are voting, everybody has equal right, equal vote. The MD cannot override them. And if you have plenty anti-MD in a board meeting, that will always be a problem. So we believe that the HR lady that we supported will serve the interest of the MD. When it comes to voting, he will always be there. She will always be there. Plus, we had audited her process. When she was deputizing her boss, she told us that she had a lot of things to do, but the boss was not allowing her. So we supported her. But can you believe that even the MD was not convinced about her? Because that day, immediately the other woman said, that woman, the woman that previously held her office had learned her lesson. The MD said, So we believe that this man had fell for that person. So what we did, out of care for the MD and for this same lady, we went to see our boss to say, this was what happened today. So we need to strategize and make sure that she emerged. So we made up our mind that we'll make sure that at every point in time, she is the one that will always push. On several occasions, I think that meeting was held in January. The announcement was to be made in few weeks or days after that. The MD couldn't make it. Why? Each time the MD pushed the name of that other woman, our boss, the man is now outside the country now, will always give excuse why they cannot use that other woman. Why? Because we had to reach an agreement, a consensus that will always protect the MD. That this woman, this lady will serve or better serve the interests of the MD out of care for the staff. And will serve the interests of the staff better. Because we had asked testimonies from staff that when that woman was there too, they didn't enjoy her. We didn't know that we were wrong. So we were thinking that this lady will come with fresh idea and that she will better serve, having been a victim herself. She will better serve the interests of the people. We didn't know that we were deceiving ourselves. Incidentally, this lady was aware of all these things because the man she was to report to called her and said, this is what was going on. This is what these guys told me. So you should be praying. On many occasions, the MD will push the name of that woman. The man will say, no, so person that is supporting the interest of previous MD that is doing this, he will give 1,001 reason why this person should not be allowed. It took 3 months before the MD now made his mind and called that man and said, I think, Mr. Lagbaja, I think I've reasoned with you. You are right too. It is better we use this lady. Before they now decide to use that lady. They made the announcement eventually in the first week of April. Instead of announcing within days, they eventually made the announcement in 3 months because of, counter against who was to be used. out of care for what? For the staff. So I was shocked when they were saying that we were part of the government. They oppressed them. Our recommendation or information led to their oppression. No! In fact, there was another example. My colleague who later became my deputy, they gave me an office when we relocated from our initial office. We located our new office. And they assigned an office to me. After they assigned that office, my colleague was on the same grade with all of us, though lower level to me. But he was still a manager. So if somebody is a manager, how can you keep him in open space? That was where they wanted to keep me. It was one professor that said, no, you can't keep Mr. Oluwasanmi there. They kept all my colleagues in a well-deserved office with status table and share. But at the end of the day, when they assigned office to me, after the intervention of that professor, they wanted to keep my deputy in an open office. Because of my care for staff, I said, no, you can't keep him there. I insisted. After all, there were about 3 or 4 open offices, vacant offices on the same floor, 2 to our right, 1 to our left. People that have not been interviewed, that you plan to hire. You are preparing office, you are providing office, you are keeping office for them. Till I left that place, nobody occupied that office. So they wanted to keep the guy outside. And because I insisted, you know what they did? They withdrew the chair and the table with the status chef in the office. They removed it. They now brought 2 primary school tables and chairs where they squeeze the 2 of us. These are part of IS Audit challenges that I'm talking about. It pronounced open discrimination. And I saw that because I was fighting the cause of my deputy. We were there for like 2 years before they moved us out of that place and they took us to another floor where they did another open discrimination against me. They kept me in a toilet-sized office. That my deputy that I was fighting for, they gave him a very good big office, well ventilated. It was that HR lady that I fought for that was using that office previously. She left there to another office. That was where she kept that my deputy. So, but what I'm saying in essence is that people can misrepresent the facts to the management, especially if it's a management that listen to them and don't ask questions. You know, some people can be petty. You know, they will listen to people and take decision. They will form opinion. They will not ask questions. And when I was living in that organization, I met with the MD. I was doing an interview with him. He said, you are not compliant. You are not. They said. That was the second time he said, they said. You know, that is what misinformation can do. And the people who spread those misinformation are those people that you have stepped on their toes. They are close to the MD. They will abuse that privilege. They will use the power that the MD listen to them for one reason or the other. So those are the things you should be expecting to see. But the fact is that not 100% of the time. At times you get the management backing, management support. But you cannot be free from people's crucifixion. So let's go to our next topic.